Dr. Quentin Wodon is a lead economist at the World Bank's Education Global Practice. He has previously managed the World Bank's Unit on Values and Development, served as lead poverty specialist for Africa, and worked as a senior economist for Latin America. Dr. Wodon has more than 500 publications, and his research has been covered by major news outlets. Almost 30 years ago, Dr. Wodon shifted his career path and joined the ATD Fourth World, a nonprofit working with the extreme poor. A lifelong learner, he holds 4 PhDs in economics, environmental science, health science, and theology.
The title of the presentation is Educating Girls and Ending Child Marriage for Sierra Leone. And the presentation today is adapted from economic update for the country that was actually finalized in July 2020, so about 1 year ago. So the context is the one that you know. And this is a slide from the original study, actually the global study. Child marriage and girls' education are often seen as social as opposed to economic issues. When we started the work with our CRW on trying to compute the economic cost of child marriage, one of the main aims that we had was to make an investment case for ending child marriage. There was already at the time a lot of consensus and movement to act. Ending child marriage is part of the SDGs, and the African Union had a campaign. But governments were not doing a lot specifically about child marriage. So the study that we started was really about the economic impacts. And after that global study, and for most of the country studies, we went much more in depth into what can we actually do. And I'm going to talk about what we can do to end child marriage. There are many things that we can do, but I think there is one thing in particular that we need to do. And what is particularly interesting, and this is very new, and I'll talk about that too, is new data that we have for 10 West African countries, which are actually the countries with the highest rates of child marriage for some of them, that tells us a little bit more how much the link how strong the link is between child marriage and girls' education. I like to show this graph where we have estimates of child marriage for different regions of the world over time to make 2 points. The first point is that it's actually feasible to reduce child marriage, defined as a formal or informal union before the age of 18. It's feasible to reduce it, and South Asia, and in particular India, is a good example of that with a rapidly declining prevalence of child marriage. At the same time, in some other regions, in particular Latin America and the Caribbean, but also in sub-Saharan Africa, which has higher levels of child marriage, things have been moving very, very slowly. And nowadays, the highest rates are found especially in West Africa and especially in the Sahel. It's actually a priority of the World Bank to try to reduce child marriage, improve girls' education, and the two, for me, go hand in hand. The message that you have at the bottom of the slide is that to try to end child marriage, you need to have a viable alternative. You need to have something else that is an option for the girls, and the best option is typically being in school. The framework that we are using nowadays for both the education of girls and ending child marriage is adapted from that global study with our CRW, whereby we look at the potential impact of girls' education on child marriage and on early childbearing. Early childbearing is defined as having a first child before the age of 18. But we also look at the impact of both education for girls and either child marriage and early childbearing at a range of other domains: earnings and standards of living, fertility and population growth, health, nutrition and well-being, agency and decision-making, and even social capital in institutions. And once we have some of those impacts, we try to put a cost estimate on those. There are different categories of cost or benefits from ending child marriage or educating girls, and in turn that helps to reduce poverty, for example, and reduce also inequality.